What's up, guys? Nautolan Jedi Master back. Another video today. We have Kit Fisto. Super excited to add another Jedi to the collection, and I can't wait to see more. We just got another announcement of another Jedi, and I'm super excited about that one too. So I'm gonna probably build me like an entire council chamber or something like that, with all the chairs and everything. It might be pretty cool, and it might be humongous. So stay tuned for that. Maybe something in the works. But right now we got Hot Toys Kit Fisto here. Got mine from Pop Collectibles. So if you want to get one of these or any other figure, that's where I get mine. If you want to get yours there, that'd be cool too. Link in the description below, discount code, all that kind of fun stuff. MMS 751. Years and years and years ago, Sideshow made a Kit Fisto. And so many times I thought about buying it. So many. And I am so glad I didn't. So glad. And well, at least at the moment of now, I'm so glad I didn't. When we unbox this, and it might suck, and then maybe I'll change my mind. But it does look quite good. But there's the box. Photo of the figure. He's got giant hands. Kit Fisto there. Who done it on the back? Let's hopefully it's good, right? Let's hope. It's been here for a day, I guess, something like that. And I've been working around the house, and it's time to unbox some awesomeness and have a little fun, do some poses. We got a little clone trooper action going back there. Back there. Ooh, dig that. That's a lot of battle damage on that clone trooper. And that one. Wow, look at that. Anyways, there's Kit Fisto there with a lightsaber. Pretty cool. What else have we got? We got some... Oh, yeah, I forgot. It's got the clone armor accessories. 100% rocking that to go with my clone armored Mace Windu and... Kenobi and some other things. Can't wait. Clone Wars, definitely a must. All right, let's get you out of here. Get you out of here. So many boxes and plastic stuff. That fresh Hot Toys smell that's emanating from the box up into the camera. Can you take a whiff? Can you smell it? Can you smell it? Right there. You got it's good here. I don't know about for you, but it's pretty good for me. We've got lightsabers, we got armor, we got a figure, we got a display base, which the display base is kind of okay. Let's get into this thing, and then obviously we'll get all the accessories out here. And camera battery did weird things, so here we go. Let's try this again. Here is our figure. It looks he is very heavy, guys. Like this right here is a lot of mass, a lot of weight. It's definitely going to be posing, going to be kind of fun. We've got some other pieces we got to undo here. Lots of plastic, but like my first impressions are like it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Surprise, no movable eyes, no posable eyes on this one. So shocker there, but this thing looks amazing. Wow. Anyways, let me get all this stuff out of here. We'll take a closer look at this guy. All right, got some accessories here. Let's check them out. We have a stand, and it looks just like the Mace Windu council flooring thing going on, and probably not going to use it. I mean, it's okay. I don't know. We'll see. But it's a Kit Fisto right there, and it just has a normal crotch grabber. So if you've got 1,000 of these, like some of you do, some of us, maybe this is your first one. That's what it looks like. You don't have to attach this if you don't want to. I probably will not. We do get a light up saber, and we get a regular saber. Now, if you are new to the channel, let me tell you this right now. These USB-C sabers are garbage. The light up function's garbage. Not worth the effort, honestly. If you want something that actually looks pretty good, get a fusion reactor saber and save yourself some headaches. It's going to cost you a little bit more money, maybe a lot more money, depending on what's going on. But the effects are way better. So there's that. But if you were going to use this one, you do have USB-C function, which you have to plug into this box, which you can attach to the stand, or you can attach to the belt of said Kit Fisto if you like. And if you want, you can do that. But they don't give you the USB-C cable, which kind of sucks. So you're still stuck with that and a power supply. But honestly, these days we probably all have way too many of those to begin with. But we do get a new saber hilt, Kit Fisto's hilt. This thing is awesome. Little gunmetal gray is kind of what it reminds me of. Not a whole lot of paint applications, not like red buttons or blue buttons or anything like that going on. It's pretty much gunmetal and black. That's what it is. So we do have that. But he does have green blades, and they are very light colored. I mean, I know this is on a white background, but these are very light green. These are not saturated like at all. This is a very... I don't know. It's not very green. It's a bright, like a lime green. Not say lime. Yeah, lime green. But you do have a swooshing effect if you want. I rarely use those, but maybe for posing, we might break this out. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But I'm pretty happy about this. If you want, it does come with the little attachments here. If you want to have it hanging from its belt, you can certainly do that. These are very small. Do not lose these. And for those wondering, it does come with 2 green wrist pegs, replacement pegs. So that's nice. So at least they're color match. Well, we do have that going on. What else? We have an array of hands, and we have some clone armor. So the unarmored hands, all right, we got a couple. We've got a kind of wide, it reminds me of the Star Trek grip, like the Spock thing. That's what this hand reminds me of. I don't know why. Well, I think you probably know why. He's got that hand, and then he's got another one on the other side, which is more separated between the fingers than this one. These are kind of close together. So that's what's on the figure right out of the box. And then we've got these guys. So we've got, I would say, I'm going to call this a force gesturing hand. That's kind of what I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with that. These are very large hands. These are obviously a new mold because he's his own creature. And they're painted very nicely. We've got dark greens and some blues and browns and a wash over it. Like nice texture, reptilian texture, I guess I would say. And they look very good. And they are large compared to a humanoid, I guess, if you will. These are definitely large hands. And they look like they're painted very well. So there's no detail, like there's not like a nail, I guess, if you will, fingernail, because he doesn't have them. So there's no detail there. It's pretty much just a creature's hand. So we have a left, more gesturing hand, a right hand, which is going to be, I'm going to call it a support hand for the hilt, maybe. We'll go with that. And then we have one unarmored right saber wielding hand. So we got that. You don't have a left unarmored saber wielding hand, which I think is kind of weird. And then you have a right armored saber wielding hand. So he only holds a saber in one hand. I don't understand that. It's very strange they didn't give us a left to go with this, like on either one of these. These are both right hands. One's got an armor, one doesn't. One's got a glove. But no left saber holding hands, which I think's strange. And then we have the 2, kind of like we saw earlier, armored hand. The armor, I like the armor. I'm going to go with the Clone Wars armor, most likely in the final pose when it goes on the shelf. But at least we got a few options, even if it's not a whole lot of options. And then we've got 2 Clone Wars style gauntlets that should slide right over the forearms of these guys. Nice paint, weathering on both, nice detail. Not over the top weathering, but there's some, you can see some there. So it looks pretty good. Taking an up close look at Kit Fisto, it looks amazing. I'll say it. He looks amazing. I mean, look at the detail on the texture and the skin, the eyes. Again, no movable eyes because he's got giant, like reptilian, alien eyes. So they don't move around. Doesn't have any pupils to look in any direction. And that's okay because I'm not sure where, I guess you would pop it in the next section. I don't know. Either way, I think it looks great. The expression on the mouth, dig that very much. I think that's cool. And the paint coloration is just, I think it's on point, right? It's very, very top heavy as far as all this stuff, as I mentioned earlier. Like it's got some serious, these are not hollow. They're solid. But look at the detail. Absolutely beautiful. And all these little like gradients of blacks to or grays to black, the green, the browns, all this like textured, almost looks like skin. It just looks sick. And I dig this very much. Now, I mentioned this Sideshow one earlier, and what I felt with the Sideshow one is the body didn't match the head. Like the proportions were kind of funky. This one, I think, matched very well. And when the posing section comes around, I think we'll notice that as well. We'll try to make it look as good as we can. Tailoring on the suit looks great. It's very lightweight material. There's nothing crazy going on here. There's no wires going on here. There's a wire here on the tabard down the bottom. And I don't think there's anything. Oh, there's a wire. Yeah. There's a wire on the shoulder. This part right here, on this part here, there's a wire there. So we can get kind of straight-ish if we want. So I kind of dig that. I like that. Just something else to futz with. The belt doesn't feel pleather-like. It feels like synthetic of some kind, but it doesn't feel like the hard, thick, plastic, pleathery material. These are definitely sculpted. PVC or vinyl or whatever they are, probably vinyl. And that's how it goes around. There's a Velcro on the back, way back there if you want to take it off. And I think this looks freaking sick, man. Holy cow. Now that I think about it, where's his cloak? It might be in the bottom. I'll get to that. I just thought, like, where's his Jedi robe? What the hell? It must be in the bottom of the box, and I forgot to look. What you gonna do? But there's the hands that come on the figure. We mentioned that earlier. The detail and the texture. You got an undershirt. You got another vest style undershirt, and then you got this guy on top. Looks great, along with the dark brown pant. Very lightweight. And then yes, we do have Jedi one-piece boots again. They've got a nice little belt buckle on there. And they're they feel very mobile. Like it doesn't feel like that thick. If you remember the old Anakin ones and the Qui-Gon ones that feel very thick and whatnot, these feel like they've got almost like the scout troopers, the biker scouts. Kind of feels like that. Like there's a lot of motion going on there, and I like that. I think that's pretty cool. I'm somewhat hesitant on how much motion I want here based on how heavy all this stuff is and balancing wise. And will this ankle joint, depending on the pose, support everything that's going on up here? I don't know. That's to be determined. But overall, I think it's pretty good looking. I'm not expecting a lot of range of motion out of here. Let's see what we got. He can look. Yeah, I was kind of worried about that. If he looks down, you've got all this gappage here. I suppose that's to be expected. I don't know if these are somewhat I guess they're somewhat movable, posable. I'm not really going to mess with that because I don't want to take that risk. But as far as everything else, it's a typical 6 scale style body. Nothing crazy going here. Double bend everywhere you want to double bend. And of course, if you do that, you're going to start seeing that wrist peg. So got to cover that up. As far as ab crunch, you remember you got 3 layers of clothing here. So it's not terrible. Torso twist, you're going to have to deal with bunching up and twisting of that. And then a double bend on the knee. And then obviously we looked at the angles a little bit earlier. Plenty of range of motion, guys. I think we can have some fun with this depending on how much limitation we've got here. And then, like I said earlier, with the balancing of this guy, we'll see here in a little bit. Let me see if I can't find that robe. Yep, here we go. we have a Jedi robe taped to the underside of the clamshell. So, check that out when you want. There's a wire going along the hood, I guess, if you will, this guy. I am unimpressed by Hot Toys robes. Like, they just suck in general. It's just, the hood is always a pain in the butt. How they stitch it, it's just a nightmare to pose. I do like that they've got this, like, silken material on the inside. And because I really don't want paint spillage from the fabric to go onto the head. If you've owned a Jedi figure with this before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That is a thing. And so this hopefully will give some level of protection against that. And hopefully the arms are a little larger to be able to get the giant hands through. So we'll see how that plays out. But there is one there. There is no wire going down the length of it. It's just on the hood. And I'm okay with that. So here's our Kit Fisto. I did find the robe. I did put it on. And it's not a look I'm going to use, I don't think. It's a little bit of a pain. So the tendrils, I guess, in the front are somewhat wired and posable, so you can maneuver them around. But I don't know. I feel like the Clone Wars look is more my speed. But texture-wise, the robe looks correct. I did anticipate having issues with the ankles. So they are, again, kind of like the Scout Trooper ankles. And so they're a little, I don't want to say loose, because they're not loose, like it's not going to fall over, but they are looser, and the hip joints, as you saw earlier, are very posable. It's just a lot of weight going on up top. And so he wanted to kind of slide around and fall over and just, it's just one of those things you're going to have to nail the pose. And once you do, I think it'll be fine. But that's what's happening on mine. Again, the head looks fantastic. The sculpt looks fantastic. The proportions look fantastic. Kind of give him a little side look here. And yeah, I think this is exactly what I wanted, actually, from a Kit Fisto. Would have liked some more hand options for the posing, which we'll get to eventually. But as far as appearance goes, it looks accurate. Texture, I think, looks good. Again, the proportions look good. I like that the boots are posable. I just wish the joints were a little tighter. But that's okay. Yeah, I guess I can work with that. But that right there, that's money. Absolute freaking money right there. So for those who have this coming, I think you're going to be very happy to add to your Jedi Council. And now we just need a Plo Koon. So we could put with a Plo Koon with a young Ahsoka? Dude, come on now. That would be sick. Eventually I'll get young Ahsoka from Pop Collectibles. He's got, I don't know, 6 figures I'm waiting on right now. So eventually I will get them over here and we'll review them. But this right here looks pretty good. Let's do some more poses and have some fun. So here's our imposter Mace Windu with our artisan Anakin next to Kit Fisto, and that's what they look like all together. Obviously, Kit Fisto is a little bit taller. Nothing crazy taller, because, you know, Vader's supposed to be pretty tall. But I'd say they look all pretty good together. Not gonna lie. I think I can come up with a better pose for Kit, but we'll do that in just a little bit. But all in all, not a bad set. So we'd have to add Yoda, obviously Kenobi. We got to do that. And then a Yaddle. That would be cool. Plo Koon. I mean, just so many. But overall, I'd say that's a pretty good bunch of figures to put on the shelf for some Jedi Council. All right, let's talk about our good friend Kit Fisto. We've got the Clone Wars armor on there, one gauntlet there, one gauntlet there. The only hand you could possibly have him holding a saber with. And this is definitely the look I'm going with. I love the Clone Wars look. Big fan. And so I've got him on a base that I can't remember. I think this is from the Blurg. I think it's from the Blurg because it's got those 2 pegs there for the feet for the Blurg. I think that's where it's from. Anyways, I've got them up there. Again, the ankles, they kind of want to give way unless you got them balanced perfectly. They're not, you know, it's just one of them things. So be careful with posing yours. You don't want him toppling over. He's a heavy figure, and I thought that would be something we got to battle with. And it is. So luckily the tendrils there on the front are somewhat posable, so they're not crazy. But you're not going to get a whole lot of range of motion out of the head because, you know, you're going to have to do most everything posing wise around the hips and waist. And then obviously he doesn't have movable eyes, so we don't have, we're going to have to assume where he's looking. But if you assume where he's looking, I think it looks pretty stinking good. I must say myself, I think that works. So again, I don't know what final pose we're going to end up with, but just messing around with them, trying to give you guys some ideas. So just some poses here, some old grouping. We've got obviously Mace Windu back there. I got the Clone Wars Kenobi here. We've got our Yoda here with the fusion reactor's saber, which is obviously not lit up. That's why it looks very green and very bright. And then an honorary council member back there who was just kind of fourth wall cheating back there. But so if for those who have Kit Fisto on the way for your collection, you're going to be very happy with it. I think on mine, it's not necessarily the ankles that are really giving me the issue, it's the hips. So my hips are a little looser than I would like. They're not loose as in broken loose. They're just, with all the weight of the top of it's just kind of giving me a little bit of issue. So I'll probably end up using the display stand, the crotch grabber to go with it, depending on what I do with it. I think Jedi Council chair might be in his future. We'll see. But they all look great together. And if you want one of these, check out Pop Collectibles if you like. As always, collect what you like. Stay tuned for more videos. There's a lot more coming. I got a backlog of collection, including, well, I guess I can show you. He's sitting right here, including this guy. He's been here a minute. It's going to focus. And I need to finish that video. So that guy's coming amongst other things. So subscribe if you haven't already done so. See you next time.